want money now.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Good evening. You're watching government-funded news. Canada's new Human Rights Commissioner, Burju Datani, has resigned before ever officially starting the job. He agreed to go on leave one day before starting his role, following complaints of anti-Semitic remarks made in his past while living under a different name, as well as an attitude of apologism towards Islamic terrorism. Despite being born with the name Burju, he decided to become Muslim in 2001 and changed his name to Mujahid, which he lived under until 2017. However, he failed to disclose this to the Privy Council Office background check. He thought he could live under a different name for 16 years and that's something they wouldn't care about in a background check? He's either retarded or he's a liar, and I think I know which one it is.
You lie! You're a fucking liar! Shut up!
Datani is accused of posting articles online which compare Israel to Nazi Germany, and in a lecture to the Muslim Research Forum in Istanbul, he called terrorism a well-calculated strategy with surprisingly high success rates. Nothing alarming about that.
Might want to look into it.
Speaking of terrorism, MPs of all stripes have voted to investigate how a father and son accused of planning a terrorist attack in Toronto managed to enter the country, and how the father, who allegedly appeared in a gruesome terrorist propaganda video, managed to obtain citizenship.
That was bad intelligence. Very bad intelligence.
I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, Liberal MP Jenica Atwin is sponsoring petitions to limit background checks on Palestinians applying to leave Gaza. Well, I think we might have figured out how the ISIS terrorists got here. Well, actually, you might be surprised to learn that, along with everything else that's gone wrong, is Stephen Harper's fault. Of course it was.
It's not your fault. I know. It's not your fault.
Youth unemployment is at its highest level in over a decade outside of the COVID-19 pandemic, as hundreds of thousands of temporary foreign workers have been imported into the country and many seeking jobs in the retail and food sectors. The youth unemployment rate for youths 15 to 24 has soared 5% from 9 to 14% just in the last 2 years. A recent UN report has called the foreign worker program in Canada a breeding ground for contemporary slavery. Oh good! Trudeau's been looking for something else to apologize for on our behalf. It's been about 4 minutes since the last one. Hey, we might get our own Emancipation Day after all. Since businesses have been abusing the foreign worker program by hiring foreigners for jobs which could be filled by Canadians, Employment Minister, the other Randy, has announced that the government will begin cracking down on fraud in the temporary foreign worker program. Well, maybe he could start by talking to some of his fellow Liberal MPs. I have a hard time believing Buddy couldn't find a legal administrative assistant in a town with 600,000 people living in it.
They took our jobs!
They took your job!
They took your job!
Well, the Paris Olympics have ended, and the female boxing champion at the center of a worldwide clash on sex and gender identity in sports has reportedly named Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling, among others, in an online harassment complaint being investigated by French prosecutors. The beginning of the controversy largely stems from the International Boxing Association disqualifying the athlete last year from the World Championships, citing XY chromosomes and elevated levels of testosterone, something the athlete called a big conspiracy. I mean, yeah, come on. Look at her. Elevated levels of testosterone. That's crazy. Well, that's all the time we have tonight. Thanks for watching Go FU News. And remember, if you don't think that hundreds of thousands of tax dollars should be given to an organization which publishes anti-white, anti-Catholic propaganda written by a self-described radical leftist, then you're a far-right Nazi. Good night.